Hey Premiere Pros, it's Paul Murphy here, and today I'm going to show you how to access the hidden edits inside of a remixed music track. So I can think of a couple of reasons why you might want to do this, and the first one that springs to mind is with remixed music tracks, it gives you a little bit of flexibility on how you adjust it, but you can't actually go in and make adjustments to individual cut points. So for example, sometimes I find the fades in remix a little too short, and I just like to have the ability to go in and stretch them out. You can't do that with remix, so being able to have access to those original cuts would help me do that. The other, and probably a more common reason for doing this, is that you need to share your timeline with someone who is not working inside of Premiere Pro. So maybe you're sending this out for a sound mix or something like that, and you want to be able to give those original files with those cuts to the person who's doing the sound mix. So I'm going to show you two things here. First, I'm going to show you how to go in and make changes to a remix track, and I'm also then going to show you how to replace your remix track in the timeline with those original cuts. So I guess the first thing I should do is go in and apply remix to this clip here. So I'm going to go over to my tool panel and I'll click and drag down and choose the remix tool. And I'm just going to click and drag to shorten this track. I'm going to shorten it down from about 3 minutes to 1 minute, and it will analyze the track and find out where it can make cuts to make that track shorter. And you can see that these cuts are represented with these jagged lines here. Now what I'm going to do is select this clip in my timeline and then load it in my source monitor. So I'm going to go up to sequence and match frame. And this is the first clue that you're not working with a normal clip here. What you're actually working with is a nested sequence, but you can't access that nested sequence in your project panel. So now that we know that, what we can actually do with this loaded in our source monitor is click the wrench here and choose open sequence in timeline. So now we're actually viewing that remixed audio track with all of its cuts in another timeline, and we can make changes to this. So for example, I said that I find the fades a little too short. I can now go in and stretch out some of these fades and make them sound better. And any changes that I'm making here will be reflected in that remix clip in my other timeline. So that's the first thing, and maybe that's what you want to do, but if what you actually wanted to do was to replace that remix clip with the original clips in your timeline, what you want to do is go back over here, and I'm going to load this in my source monitor again. I'll go up to sequence and match frame. Probably should be using the shortcut F since that's much quicker. And rather than opening this up as a sequence, I'm going to go and turn off this button here. Now, this button has the longest name. It's called the insert and overwrite sequences as nests or individual clips button, which is a terrible name for a button. It should actually just be called the nest button. So do we want to nest a sequence when we pull it into the timeline, or do we want to bring the original clips from that sequence into the timeline? So I'm going to turn off the nest button, and I'm going to move my playhead to the start of my sequence, and then I'm going to go up here and just choose overwrite. And when I do that, I've now replaced that remix clip in my timeline with those original edits and with their fades as well. So now I'm okay to send this out as maybe an AAF or an XML that can be opened up in another application. Hey, I hope you found this little tip useful. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and maybe check out some of these other videos too.